Yeah, yeah, yeah. Show me some. Show me some. Show me some.
Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. Miranda wanted,
He was
Miranda wanted to
singing.
start this one with a funny face, and I was singing because Miranda got this whole "don't suck at singing" thing kind of going here.
Come
But
on, you have to do it, John. You just said you want me to start.
I can't. It was a joke.
So
It was a joke. It was a joke. We're live. We're in front of the public, in front of our 10 billion listeners. I can't do it.
you can. He's shy, you guys. He's so shy.
Maybe a little sometimes. But anyway, welcome. We are excited today. Actually, I'm really excited because I feel like I just learned so much from you, and I feel like you have like this evolution of learning. Like you are constantly learning and constantly like your brain is so creative. And I didn't talk about your glasses today because you are so matchy. Like that pink matches not only your shirt, but it like matches like your post-it. And then it also
Really?
matches, yeah, what do you have in your, oh, maybe it's the shadow of your heart thing that's down on your desk. That's what it looks like. Look at all that pink. And then look at you are amazing. Don't quit. You got some hearts, even your Don't Suck at Sales live, which I have to turn mine on too. But we only get like, I think 17 YouTube listeners. So people aren't watching us anyway, but that's okay. Hi, how are you?
Fantastical, radtastical.
Good. I know you are. And my brain is all over the place today, but it's all full of excitement, Miranda. It's all full of energy. And this particular call, we are going to really kind of dive deep into the intro of the appointment setting call. Right. And I think that this is really important on so many fronts because this is the start of it. I've heard you say it before. I remember when Cody Askins was on and he really talked about the importance of it. Nate Offert talked about the importance of the phone call. I've never saw it as that important, right? But that's why I've always had like a 7% book ratio and you've had like a 70% book ratio. So I'm excited. I want to kind of kick this over to you. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to piggyback where I can, but I don't think too many people want a 7% book ratio. I think they want the 70% book ratio, Miranda Martin.
All right. So, okay. There's one thing that is important because typically when people have their appointment showing up at a high level, they're usually having a close rate that's at a high level because the sale starts on the phone, right? So, and what another metric to look at is sometimes you see people that are making a lot of phone calls, and they're talking to a lot of people, but maybe not booking a lot of appointments. So that's what I want to talk about today is those of you that might be making a lot of contacts with people, but not actually getting further along and getting those appointments scheduled. Because do you know how long, John, it takes for people to decide on the phone if they want to listen to you?
I was over 3 seconds.
3 seconds, right? You have a little bit more time in person, but on the phone, it's 3 seconds. So one of the most important things and things that I see people messing up is sounding unsure. So when I go up at the end of my sentence and I'm asking, John, what about this? And I go up at the end of my sentence, what does it sound like I'm doing?
Maybe creating a question.
Questioning, right? So that's what ends up happening a lot, especially when we get on the phone and we're not getting the results that we want. What happens to our confidence? Goes down, right? So like in turn, we might start sounding unconfident just because we're having not as much success on the phone as we want. So it starts right at the beginning. So if I say, hi, John Ziller, please. That's like your 3 seconds. Like if they're not interested in the way you asked for the person because that's how long 3 seconds is. So for those of you that might not have done calls before, or maybe those of you that have, but this is a very basic thing, but it's important. Let's say the lead says like John Ziller, but Jessica answers. There's a female. What would we want to do in that instance? What could we do?
My brain would go like, hi, Mrs. Ziller, please.
So talk to the person who picks up the phone. It doesn't happen as much now with cell phones, but back in the day, everyone had like a landline, and sometimes you could lose somebody right out of the chute because all of a sudden it says John or vice versa, and then you ask them to go on like a wild goose egg hunt to go find that person, right? But most importantly is we want to sound like we know what we're doing and say that person's name strong, even if we're wrong. So I would cheat sometimes, and let's say I didn't know how to say their last name and it was an easier first name, I just be like, hey John, please. I wouldn't say the last name because I was like, hey, you want to sound like you're calling a friend, and then hop right into the script. A lot of times when I have this happen so much, and a lot of times I'm in a rush and I don't want to be mean, but I bet you it's happened to you guys this week where you've had a telemarketer call and they go, hi, John Ziller, please.
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, like you could tell when they're reading the script, right? And I
And you're
think
like,
I think that's what you're saying, right? It's like they're not interested because you're not interesting, right?
yep.
And so be very well polished. We all
And
know that. We all know when like Spring Green Lawn Care calls us, or Chem Lawn, or whatever some of these other ones are, like, you know, instantaneously, like, here we go, right? Because they're either going entirely too fast or trying to get out like 35 words before you even breathe. There's so many things, but I love what you're talking about just with this first 3 seconds.
so say it strong, even if you're wrong, right? And then we go right into it. One thing that's an important script adjustment when you're looking at the script that you're calling off of, there's one thing that you don't want to do, and it's pausing at the end of a sentence, especially in that first paragraph. So some people may say something along the lines of, hey, this is Miranda, I'm calling about your mortgage at 12345 Street. Pause. Okay, you might not know that you're pausing, but if you were to listen to yourself back or have someone hear you, almost 100% of the time when people do not have a good conversion on the phone, they're doing a weird pause in the first few seconds of or sentences of their phone call. Right? So one thing that I recommend doing is taking a highlighter, pull up your script, and literally put like 2 or 3 words of that next sentence in your breath before that you pause. So instead of like pausing right at the end of a sentence there, like, hey, this is Miranda, I'm calling about your mortgage at 12345 Street, and I was following up, pause, and then keep talking, because they're not expecting you to pause there. If I pause at the end of a sentence, they know that you're going to pause at end of sentences. So what do you think the person on the other end of the phone is doing?
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good, buddy. I want to just kind of piggyback there. It's like, you look at the first paragraph of your script, every single place that there's a period, get rid of it. And everywhere you see a comma, that's a cliffhanger, right? That's where you can be intentional and take a deep breath, right? Or take a breath so you can finish the rest of your sentence. So anywhere you see a period, get rid of it.
Yep.
And just completely ignore that period. And then anywhere you see a comma, that's where we can kind of take a quick breath. I think that's probably a simple way to do it. Or Miranda, like you're saying, practice your way through these periods, and wherever you run out of breath consistently, put a little highlighter there, take a breath, make sure it's at the edge of a cliffhanger, and then kind of keep doing that throughout your spots.
You want to pause like in the middle of a sentence, not at the end. And if you don't if this is confusing, then you can add the word so at the beginning of the sentence, then pause. So just by me saying, okay, John, so I'm following up on your mortgage on 12345 Street. So pause and keep talking. That's an easy way to do it because it throws people off. They're waiting to hear what you are going to say next. Yeah. Okay. The only time in the first probably paragraph or so of the phone script that you actually want to pause is when you've asked them a question that you want like an answer to. So I'm going to do this stuff, and you don't have to talk fast. When you pause in these special spots, I call it smart pausing. When you pause in these special spots, you can talk even slower than normal. because they don't know where you're going to pause to try to get off the phone. And you're not forcing them like an appointment. What you're doing is you're forcing them to listen to why you're calling, which is important, because how can they be not interested if they don't even know anything except your name?
Correct.
Maybe your name is boring. I don't know. It's normally the introduction that's boring.
And I love what you were talking about earlier of like listening to a recording of yourself. I don't think that people truly understand the power of that. Think of every professional athlete under the sun. Like every single football player watches film on themselves. They watch film on their opponent to find their weaknesses. Every single golfer does the exact same thing. They literally set it up, they film themselves, and then they watch how they're swinging to get on the right plane to make sure they're doing ball strike and blah, 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 blah. Every single professional, right? Miranda, you say it all the time, amateurs practice until they get it right, where professionals practice until they never get it wrong. Professionals watch themselves. Professionals listen to themselves. Like become that professional. Go and listen to a recording of yourself. And if in that first paragraph, exactly what Miranda was alluding to, if it sounds weird, make it just not sound so weird. You can practice that first part of your script over and over and over again until you get it right, until it sounds comfortable to you, and then kind of just listen. Like you should be doing that with everything anyway, like all of it. Like do it with your phone script, do it with your meeting with families presentation, doing it if you're building an agency, like just always record yourself, Mer. So I thought that was a really good topic to just not graze over either.
Awesome. And so I'm going to back up to the beginning of the phone call, right? So we have to smile when we say hello to these people, right? At the very beginning, you have to smile. I don't want you to sit there and smile the whole time, but this can make the difference of you booking an appointment with nobody joining. You guys got to see his face on here. It's crazy. He's in a crazy mood today. But smile when you say hello, and then you can stop smiling. Oh, you don't have to do that the whole time. But smile when we say hello, and then do not pause at the end of those sentences, right? And again, what you're talking about, you can practice this on like your phone, on voice recorder. Read your first paragraph out loud and go back and master this first paragraph, because this right here is the key to you booking people or not booking people. And if you're getting a lot of people on the phone, not booking them, it's right in here. I promise you.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We truly appreciate all of the comments and all the love and all the outpouring that you guys are giving us. If you want to contact us individually, if you have certain questions for us about this particular episode, or if you have questions about anything, any ideas, tips, or tricks that you want to share with us, please click the link below. You'll have a direct access link to Miranda and a direct access link to myself.
Yep. Keep the ideas coming, guys, because anything that we can do to help you not suck at sales, well, that's our mission. So it's a wrap.
I go for that gusto. Losing ain't an option. Check a bag and make deposits and deposits and deposits. You see me shining.